Brilliance Audio presents The Memory of You by Jamie Beck, performed by Dara Rosenberg. Never regret anything that once made you happy. The deathbed advice imparted years ago by her mother had comforted Steffi in the wake of many mistakes. Today those words drifted back as she turned down Echo Hill Lane, the narrow, tree-lined cul-de-sac where her next appointment and many happy memories lived. Then again, that old lesson didn't quite apply to her current predicament, because her regret had nothing to do with the time she'd spent here with Ryan Quinn and his family, and everything to do with leaving them all behind. She parked her Chevy van across the street from the white Dutch Colonial that had been like a second home in her teens. Once she killed the engine, she sat in the driver's seat, shaking out her hands, anticipating her first real conversation with Mrs. Q in a decade. She'd forfeited this family's comfort after she'd ghosted Ryan in college. If her brothers could see her now, they'd never stop teasing. But today wasn't about her discomfort. Today was about a job. One she and her childhood friend turned business partner, Claire, needed to keep their home remodeling business growing. "Here goes nothing," she muttered, then blew out a breath and opened the door. She buckled her tool belt before trotting across the lawn to the shade of the home's small portico. The familiar apple-red front door prompted a shallow smile as she gave it 3 sharp knocks. She inhaled the pungent aroma of the nearby Long Island Sound to settle her nerves. Mrs. Q opened the door, her lively smile curling the edges of her wise blue eyes. The tall woman still exuded confidence, although she now had a decade's worth of new wrinkles. Gray strands frosted her blonde hair. Warm memories rushed into the space between them, but Steffi fought the urge to press her hand against her heart. The scent of fresh-baked snickerdoodles wafted outside while they faced each other for the first time in forever. Steffi couldn't hide now, like she had at the near run-in with Mrs. Q the summer after she'd broken up with Ryan, when he'd stayed in Boston for an internship. She'd stopped by the pharmacy to pick up last-minute items for her summer abroad trip, the one Ryan had talked her out of taking the prior summer, and spied Mrs. Q at the checkout line. She'd camped out behind the chips until Mrs. Q had left, grieving anew the loss of their special friendship. Until recently, Steffi had lived in Hartford and had not bumped into the Quinns during visits with her family, which was why her pulse now throbbed with uncertainty. "Stephanie, you've hardly changed. Come on in before my last batch of cookies burns." She waved Steffi inside, minus the hugs of yesteryear, and then strolled ahead, straight back toward the kitchen. Distracted by familiar sights and sounds, the creaky original wide plank floors, the sisal carpet running up the stairs that led to Ryan's room, Steffi bumped into the cardboard boxes stacked near the base of the stairwell. "Oof! Watch yourself," Mrs. Q called. An oversized, handsome photograph of Ryan with his daughter, Emmy, sat on the mantel. His smiling brown eyes and cocoa-colored hair kept him as handsome as ever. Val, his lucky wife, got to wake up to that grin every day. Steffi rubbed her chest as she made her way to the kitchen. Mrs. Q gestured toward the platter on the counter with her spatula. "Have one." "Thanks." Steffi nabbed a thick, warm cookie, then stood in the kitchen, with its same old cherrywood cabinets and green granite, feeling 16 years old again. As she swallowed the last bit of cookie, she wondered if those boxes meant the Quinns were moving. Did they want renovations to make the home more attractive to a young buyer? It shouldn't matter, yet the idea of anyone other than the Quinns living here was like setting fire to her favorite scrapbook. She couldn't say that, of course,